Hi everybody, it's Shannon. I just got back from my oncology appointment and my chemo. I'm all hooked up here. I hope everyone's having fun sheltering in place. If you're like me, you were ordered to shelter in place. So today was the first day I've been out in, I don't know, maybe like a week and a half or something like that. So even though it was only to oncology, it was kind of nice getting out. One thing I did notice, well, that's not true. Last week I did not go into oncology at all, but the week before then I did have chemo. Now, the Thursday that I went to have my shot, we no longer did a few things like at reception. You didn't get within so many feet of each other and all that kind of stuff. But that was about it. It was nothing really different about going to the oncologist. But this time when I went, I get off the elevator and I go down like a short little hallway, and my oncologist's office is right there. And there was the nurse. Kimberly was actually outside with a little stand, and she had like her little Germ-X, and she had gloves, and she had, you had to have your temperature taken, and she wrote that on a form. And then she asked about like, have you been anywhere, traveled anywhere in the past, 2 weeks? Have you, been around anybody who's had the virus, who knows that they had the virus within so many days, and all this kind of stuff. I saw a little laundry list of questions that she asked. And then she gives you a mask, and you have to put on the mask, and you have to wear the mask the whole time. I don't know how like surgeons and really long operations do that, because I just did not really enjoy having a mask on for 5 hours. But everybody else in there had it on too, so we all did it. We all worked it out. But that was something that was very different this time that I went. So I got access this time. I didn't have to see my oncologist. I just went straight back and waited on my blood work to see if it was all good, that I could have my chemo. And my liver functions are coming down, slowly but surely. So that's really good, coming down to normal. And my white blood cell count is like in the normal range where it should be, because I get my shot, every other week, which now doesn't bother me at all. Yay. Finally got used to it. So that's been not so bad. Today took a long time though. For some reason, I was there from 9:30 to 2 o'clock. So it was a while, but I'm all hooked up to Penelope now for the next 46 hours. And I think it'll all be good. One thing I did have to have with my oncologist the last time I went in, so 2 weeks ago, I'm going to be applying for TRS, that's the teacher retirement system here in Georgia, disability retirement with disability, or disability retirement, I think they call it, because I have 20 years in, but I'm not, of the age that I could do it normally, retire normally. But they have different plans and different options. And I was thankful that a friend of mine who is retiring this year told me about the different options. And I sent away to TRS to have them, do a little mock-up of my, how much I would get depending on which plan I chose. And there's one plan where it's like up to 2 years, meaning, you're not going to be alive within 2 years. But if you choose that one and you are still alive and you still want to receive disability retirement, you lose a ton of money. And then I think the next one up is I'll live up to 10 years, but I won't live past 10 years. And then the next one is something else and something else. So basically, after I knew this, that there were actual times, I figured I better have like the death and dying conversation with my oncologist. And he didn't really want to have it. I said, I need to know about how much longer I'm going to live. And he looked at me and he said, you really want to have this conversation? And I said, well, I don't want to have this conversation, but in order for me to be able to choose, the right retirement plan so that my husband, can get the most money and make sure that, I don't want to pick, live under 2 and I end up living, the next 4 years and then half my retirement's just gone. So I said, I need to have it. And here are the choices. And he went through and explained, back in the 80s, if you'd come in, you would have had, less than 6 months to live. That would have been the timetable I would have given you, is less than 6 months. And even just 20 years ago, he said, I would have given you 2 years, and that's it. And you're almost to 2 years now, and you're doing really well on, so far. So he said, I would choose the one that is over 2 years but under 10. He said, chances are, you're looking at, given what you've had so far, 3, 4 more years, which would put it at 5 or 6, 5.5, 6.5 years since diagnosis. And I think that's pretty good. That was one of my long-term goal was to live 5 years. But it is kind of strange. Like, he didn't want to have that conversation. So that was kind of funny. But you figure he looks at these numbers all the time, but he just didn't want to have the conversation about, how long it was actually going to be any more than I did. But, so if you do, I say this because if you do work for like a county or a city or something government that has something like that, and you have a disease that is terminal, like I do, you might want to have the death and dying conversation with whomever it is that would know, just to make sure that you get the most that you can for your, for the amount of service that you put in, into your disability retirement. So it's not a pleasant conversation. I think I cried a little at the end of it, but it's something that you need to do. So, but for now, I'm here and everything's going well. I don't know how much longer we're going to have this shelter-in-place thing. I might have to have my husband just drive me around in the car a couple of times a week because I am getting a little stir-crazy. Not being able to get out and, have lunch with friends or go have coffee with a friend or something like that in the morning. That's getting a little old. But I am lucky that my husband is getting to work from home still. So he's here. My daughter's school, Auburn University, went to online for the rest of the semester. So she's home, which is nice. But she definitely does not understand shelter in place. Although she does understand wash hands before you go see mom, which is nice. So anyway, I guess that's about it. Everything's going along swimmingly. So I want everybody out there to be positive and stay strong, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.